Alright, we're gonna have a good match. This match, we're gonna have a good match. We're gonna take it easy. We're gonna chill. We're not gonna walk around. Like, we're gonna hide. And then be ready to fight. Let's come like there. Didn't quite make it, but that's okay. Truck down there. There's like no, I don't see anywhere near me. Vector, okay, cool. I need to practice that too. I'll switch to that. Then what? I love that you can put a 4X on a shotgun. That's hilarious. I have the M16 instead of a shotgun. Yeah, probably. Am I going to? Yeah, I'm gonna keep that shotgun. quite make that turn. I will, though. We'll be alright. We'll make it in there. Not a super smart play to drive right through the middle of this city, but gonna do it anyway. Because I like to live dangerously. Alright, so, I wonder if I should just tell the story while I'm sitting here waiting, and then he can just watch it tomorrow as he has time. So that's what I'll do. So, my hard drive started acting up. Got a new hard drive. And I was like, I know I need a new graphics card. So I'll just get the graphics card when I get the hard drive. And that'll kind of knock out two birds with one stone. So I ordered them. I ordered the hard drive, ordered the graphics card. Put them both in. I cloned my existing HDD over to the SSD. Flipped them so that I would boot from the SSD. And it booted okay. But then it would freeze. Like, it just wouldn't do anything. It wouldn't move. It wouldn't... The mouse would still move. I could still get the mouse to move wherever I wanted to. But nothing else on the computer would work. Control-Alt-Delete wouldn't work. Hitting the little Windows thing to make it come up with... Like, nothing would work. After it got done booting. So, I was like, well, that's not good. So, I started over. I flipped them again, booted off the HDD, formatted the SSD, cloned it, flipped it, same problem. I was like, all right, well, there's something in my program files that's fighting with this SSD that won't let it go right. So then I started some Google Foo, and I was like, it's really weird that the mouse will move, but that nothing else will work. It just doesn't make sense. And so it was like, oh, you got to change your BIOS settings from IDE to AHCI. And I was like, or from AHCI back to IDE. And I was like, well, that's going to slow down the SSD. Like, that's the whole point. But if it'll work and it's faster than the HDD was, then I guess at least it's an improvement. I was like, all right. So I did that one in the BIOS. Nope, same thing. It functioned the exact same way. I was like, okay, well, the next Google thing said go to the device manager and make sure your device manager's AHCI set up. So, okay, so I did that, downloaded the Samsung drivers, put them in there. Nope, same thing. And I was like, okay, well, if I clone it and then I boot from it in safe mode, then I can reset it back to Windows, um, like factory, Windows Factory. I was like, okay, so I did that, and that made it functional. Like, it would still work okay, but every once in a while, like, most of the time when I opened a program, it would still freeze for 3, 4, 5 minutes. And if I just waited and I was patient, what do we got going on here? Yeah, we're good. If I waited and was patient, then it would be fine and it would come back. And it would boot up just the way that it was. So, or not boot up, but like whatever. So, like if I, for example, clicked Firefox and then Firefox wasn't working, so I tried to hit Control Delete and then that wasn't working. Then I tried to hit the window. If nothing worked, and then I waited like 5 minutes and came back, all three of those things would be open. So like, that guy's username was Enjoys Toenails. This was super weird. So, that was functional for a while, but it still wasn't great. And so in between all of this, like every time I had to reset, it reset everything. So like it reset my OBS, it reset my graphics card with the drivers. So like in the middle, I got to play like 1 or 2 games with everything the way it was supposed to be, but I still had to fight with that whole freezing issue all the time. So I didn't know what else to do. I noticed when Task Manager was open that I was using like a lot of my processor a lot of the time. And so I thought, well, maybe the new graphics card is too much for this processor, so I need to update this processor. So I so I was like, okay, I gotta get a new processor. Also, back up, when I got the graphics card, it didn't come with the cable I needed to hook it up to my power supply. My power supply was a 6-pin, graphics card is an 8-pin, and I'm like, okay. So I went to Clarion. There's a computer place in there, and I was like, hey, I need this cable. And he was like, hey, your power supply is not strong enough. And I was like, hey, I've done the research. My power supply is 550. It's plenty. And he was like, we don't have that cable. I said, okay. So I left, ordered the cable online. But when I got the processor was saying that it was using like, I want to say 125. I'm not positive about that. But I was like, all right, so if the graphics card is supposed to use 450 and the processor is supposed to use 125 and my power supply is 550, that's probably not great. So I ordered the new power supply at the same time that I ordered the new processor. So that's why I have new all 4 of them. And still, so that didn't do the trick either. So the new processor, new power supply, I had all of this new stuff, still didn't do the trick. I was still freezing for no discernible reason. So at one point, I don't remember why, I don't remember what made it come to me, but I was laying in bed and the thought hit me to ditch Samsung's drivers and just use a generic AHCI driver. As I was like, all right, so I went online, found a generic driver, installed it, hadn't had a problem since. It's been perfect. My computer boots so fast. Blue still gets in faster than me. Like the loading screen, I still have loading screen longer because it can still call out where we're at faster than I can see it. So I don't know if that's just a faster SSD or if that's because my motherboard is only SATA 2 and maybe his is SATA 3. I'm not sure what it is, but it's a 5 or 6 year old motherboard, so it's doing pretty well for what it is. And also, I got the fastest chip that I could get for this motherboard. Because I didn't really want to get into buying a whole new motherboard. Like, at that point, I'm like, why don't I just buy a whole nother computer? And at some point, I will buy another motherboard, but I'm going to put my old chip in it, and then I'll probably just get a small amount of RAM so that I can have a second streaming PC. Because at this point, that's all I need is a motherboard and RAM, and then if I want to get fancy, a case to put it in. But like, I have everything else that I need, so I may as well do that at some point. Probably no time soon. I don't feel like I need it anytime soon. I feel like this is functioning very well. and I really like my setup here. So, so that's the story. That's what's going on, and I will tell you about this tomorrow, so you can watch it and get the scoop. Yeah. Now I feel like I was gonna tell that whole story while I was sitting here, so that I had time to wait for the circle to come in, so I could see where I had to move next, and the circle's not in yet. So I don't just want to sit here and have you stare at the empty. Have you stare at nothing. Stare at me not moving. But yeah, so that's the story of a man named Brady. I think this is gonna be my last match as well. Oh. Okay. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. That tracks. Ugh, gross. I don't want to go. Down around far south is my best bet here. And try and come in the other side of the circle. So let's do that. Alright, here goes. Far south, so that way. Okay, cool. I still have that shotgun. Where's the sniper rifle? Can I get a sniper rifle? Can I just look real quick? Find a sniper rifle. Fun fact, I don't need more than 200 rounds. The answer is no. No, I cannot. So, there's that. Still do need to go south here. Trying to watch over there. Got a minute before it starts to move, but... I'm gonna stay as far away from that town as I can, and also not super close to the edge of the circle because there's gonna be dudes there. But I don't want to be super close because I don't want them to come in on me either. It's a very tricky maneuver I'm attempting here. Don't try this at home, kids. Chilluns, do not attempt this in your domicile. I gotta check. I don't know why, but I gotta check. Okay, cool. Yeah, that wasn't worth it. I don't even know if I've got boosts. I should have done that. Oh yeah, the adrenaline springs. I forgot about that. Let's do that. Let's pop that guy. This is like the third circle, so... Okay. Okay, so the benefit to this plan now is that there shouldn't be anybody else behind me. The downside to this plan is as soon as that circle locks up there, it's gonna hit pretty good. And also, I did not get nearly as far around as I was hoping I would. Alright, I gotta do it. I gotta do it, because when that locks, the tires on this... No, 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 no. That one. No. Mistakes were made. The circle just hits too hard. That's weird. Come on. I took some damage there. That was some weird damage. Yeah, I don't have any more of those, so... Yeah, well... Look at all the people. Look, I could have been 3. It's just give me a couple more seconds, man. Whatever. Not a good night. Not a good night for PUBG. That was, not great. Not great. Alright, that's gonna be it for me. Thanks for watching. Thanks for making it this far, if you did. And I will see you all tomorrow.